She's not here yet.
Yeah, she's not
Okay.
here. But how about Ngọc Hà? Ngọc Hà có đây không con? I don't know why. Yes, and there is one more girl, Ngọc Hà. Yeah. Okay, please start our lesson, please, teacher.
Okay, thank you. Okay, hello everyone. Welcome to the lesson for this week. Hope you've all had a good week. So what we're going to do today is we're going to do speaking again. And before we start on that though, what I'm going to do is I'm going to, hang on a moment.
Yeah, and this is Dương Hà, Ngọc Hà. Yeah, okay.
Okay. Sorry, just getting organized here.
Mm-hmm.
All right. What I'm going to start off with each of these lessons is I'm going to give you a list of words, English words, that are easily confused with other words. Okay, so we're going to start off with a different letter of the alphabet each week. So obviously we're going to start with the A's this week. So these are words that you don't have to memorize them, but it's useful to know them because they either look like or they sound like other English words. And sometimes it's easy to get them mixed up. So like I say, every week when we start the lesson, I'll give you some of these words, just so you're aware of them. Like I say, you don't have to memorize them, but it's just handy if you know what some of them are. So for example, here's the first pair. Okay. So the first word is advance. The second word is advanced. They're both similar words, but they have different meanings. So Nam, are you there?
Yes, I'm here.
Okay, Nam, can you tell me what advance means?
Making progress.
That's right.
It
means to go forward, making progress, something like that. Ken, are you there?
Yes.
Hi, Ken. Can you tell me what advanced means?
I think it's something that
Sorry, I can't hear you.
Like it's better. I think so.
Yes, it's better. Okay. Being ahead, for example, okay, Vietnam is an advanced civilization. Okay, means being ahead of something else or someone else. So advance means to make progress, go forward. Advanced means to something that's being ahead. So the words are similar and the meanings are similar, but they're not quite the same. All right, that's the first one. The second one is and I'll put the A's in capitals. So, okay, Tone, are you there?
Yes.
Hello, Tone. How are you? How are you, Tone?
I'm fine.
That's good. Have you had a good week?
Quite good. Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell me what adverse means, Tone? Do you know?
Adverse means something not good.
Very good. It means something that's unfavorable or harmful. Okay, such as we're having adverse weather today. Means the weather's not good. Hakan, are you there?
Yes, can you hear me?
I can, very well. Thank you, Hakan. Okay, do you know what averse means? The second word in this pair, averse.
Like don't like or hate.
Correct. Well done. Excellent. Averse means that you don't like something. For example, I'm averse to eating, what can I say? Tomatoes, for example. Okay, that's how you use it in the sentence. So adverse means something that's bad or harmful. Averse means something that you don't like, such as I'm averse to eating tomatoes. I don't like eating tomatoes. Any questions, by the way, with any of those word pairs so far? All right. The next one is okay, who's next? Gao Khan. Hello, Gao Khan.
Cao Vĩnh Khánh.
I'm here.
You're here. Okay, welcome to the lesson, Gao Khan. Do you know what aisle means? Aisle, spelled A-I-S-L-E.
This was mean the path.
Sorry, it means...
The way.
Sorry, I can't quite hear you, Gao Khan.
I think this mean is the way.
The weight. The weight, not weight. Michael, are you there?
Yes.
Hello, Michael. Hello, Michael. How are you?
Hello. I'm fine, thank you. And you?
Good, thank you. I'm good. Do you know what aisle means? The first word
It
of that
mean-
pair, aisle.
Parts?
Part. No, what it means is a passage. A passage, okay? Like between but the passage between seats in a movie theater or seats in a
Oh.
plane. Plane. You know, when
Oh.
you walk down the middle of the plane to go to your seat.
Yes.
That's called
Yes.
the aisle. That's called the aisle. Nam. Hello,
Yeah.
Nam.
Yes.
What does the second aisle mean?
The second one is like an island,
Yes.
small
well done.
island. Yeah.
It does. Exactly. Exactly. So the second isle is a small island. Both those words are pronounced the same, exactly the same, isle and isle. But the meaning, of course, is completely different. So you have to rely on the context of the sentence to work out which one some might be talking about. Okay, I've only got a couple more of these. Okay, who's next? Viet Lin. Hello, Viet Lin.
Yes, I'm here.
Hi, Viet Lin. So the first one, altar. What is an altar?
A pedestal to
Yeah.
what am I searching for? To
Yeah. In what sort of building? In what sort of building would you find an
a
altar?
church.
Correct. Yes. Yes. An altar is something you find in a church. Okay. Usually a place during where you make you leave gifts or make sacrifices during some sort of religious ceremony. Okay, that's the altar. All right. The other word, altar, means what, Kien? Altar with ER on the end. Hello, Kien.
I'm here.
Yeah,
Can you hear me? Okay.
I can now. Altar.
Like change.
Yes, well done. Okay, so the first one, again, these two words sound exactly the same, altar and altar. Okay, but one is something you find in a church or a temple. The other one just means to change something. All right. And I've got one more of these. All right. Ambiguous, which I haven't spelt that right. Hang on a moment. All right. Ambiguous and ambivalent, both pronounced quite differently, and they do have different meanings, but sometimes they get confused. This is a hard one. Hakan. Can you tell me what? Yeah, Hakan.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Can you hear me?
I can. Ambiguous. Do you know what ambiguous means?
Mean like
Không rõ ràng ấy, mơ hồ đấy. Nói nó không rõ.
unclear.
Yes, yes. Well done. Very good. Well done, Hakan. And tone. Ambivalent.
Me,
Ambivalent.
yeah.
Yes.
I don't really know ambivalent.
Okay, that's fine. Ambivalent means to have mixed feelings about something, means you not sure if you like it or not. For example, you could say, I'm ambivalent about tomatoes. Okay, means I'm not sure if I really like tomatoes or not. Okay, so to be ambivalent about something is, yeah, you're not really against it, but you're not really for it either. Whereas ambiguous means to be not clear, something that's not clear. Okay, so the words again, the confusables for this lesson are advance and advanced. Okay, one means to go forward, the other means something that is ahead. For example, Vietnam is an advanced civilization. Adverse and averse. Adverse means something bad. Averse means you don't like to do something. Aisle is what you walk down when you're going to take your seat on the plane. You walk down the aisle. Aisle, spelled with an I, is a small island. Altar is something you find in a church or temple. Altar is when you change something. And the last one, ambiguous and ambivalent. Ambiguous is when something isn't clear. Ambivalent is when you're not sure how you feel about something. Are there any questions about that?
Các bạn rõ hết chưa nhỉ?
Okay.
Any questions?
All right.
Mhm.
Any questions? No questions about that? Okay, let's keep going. Mrs. Ha,
Yes, I'm here.
yeah, have I missed anybody out when I'm
Yes,
calling names?
Thanh Van Nhi, Vân tên của Vân là đọc thế này là Van Nhi hay là Vân thôi? Vân and Phương Trần, that means Paula. Yeah.
Okay.
I think during the speaking lesson need to turn on the camera. Okay,
Sure.
so we can see. And
Okay.
Phương Trần, all of you, please turn camera on. Okay. Dương Hà, Dương Hà, the same my names, but Dương Hà, yeah. Okay, you can call her Ha. Yeah.
Ha.
Yeah.
Ha.
Yeah.
Are you there? Okay.
Yeah.
Are you there?
And
Paula.
Phương Trần and Paula. Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Okay. Are you there, Ha? Can you hear me?
Hà trả lời thầy đi con ơi. Bật camera lên đi lên. Tất cả các bạn cần camera đi nào. Bật ra là nhanh lên nào. Okay, thank you. Hà ơi, bật camera lên nhanh lên, mất thời gian con. Thanh Vân bật ra là Thanh Vân ơi. Giới thiệu với thầy hôm trước đi ra không nói thầy không gặp được rồi, nhanh lên. Okay. Thanh Vân nào.
Is she there or not?
She's here, but I don't know why. Yeah, very annoying. Yeah.
Okay.
Anyway, okay, keep going, please.
Okay, I'll keep going because I obviously want to hear her talking sometime.
Yeah.
Of course. Okay. And Paula, you are there?
Yes, she's here. Paula bật đẩy lên con ơi. Paula bật đẩy lên lên, bật camera. Okay. Thank you.
Okay. Okay, everybody. So what we're going to do now is just look at the elements of the Ielts speaking test. Some of you might know this already, but just in case anyone doesn't, or you need your memory refreshed, I'm going to quickly run through the Ielts speaking test because this forms the basis of all the speaking lessons that I'm going to be giving you during this course. So this is just a reminder of how the Ielts speaking test works. So the Ielts speaking test has 3 parts. The first part is an introduction and interview, where you'll be asked questions about yourself to which you give short answers. So for example, the examiner might ask you, what job would you like to do? And an answer that you could give is, I've always wanted to be a vet. I love animals and I think it would be a very rewarding job. So part 1 is just short answers to short questions. What job would you like to do? What sort of food do you like? What sport do you play? And you just have to give a short 1 or 2 sentence answer to those questions in part 1. So with your level of English, this part should be very easy for most of you. Part 2 is what we're going to be working on for the rest of this lesson. So part 2 is, and we'll just go down the page a bit here. All right, part 2, I think, is the most difficult part of the Ielts speaking test. It's called the individual long turn. Now, this is where you're given a topic by the examiner. You have 1 minute to prepare what you are going to say, and then you have to speak for about 2 minutes by yourself. And during this time, the examiner won't interrupt you or won't ask you any questions. So a lot of people find talking for 2 minutes when no one's asking them questions, a lot of people find that quite difficult to talk and give a proper explanation or description of something for 2 minutes. Can be quite difficult. So you have to use the minute that you've been given to make a brief plan, just to write notes that you can look at and refer to for when you're talking during your 2 minutes. Now, those of you who were with me for last week's lesson will remember that I say to always write down, if you can, your final sentence so that you can finish your talk with a tidy and confident ending, because that gives the examiner a good impression about your whole talk. It's often said that the most important parts of a talk are the beginning and the end. What happens in the middle isn't so important if you have a very confident beginning, a confident first sentence, and a confident last sentence. And as it says there in the last sentence, if your talk isn't organized, you'll lose marks. Okay, so we're going to be practicing this. Part 3, which we'll do some other time, part 3 of the Ielts test is a 2-way discussion between you and the examiner. So the examiner again will ask you questions like he did or she did in part 1, but these ones will require a longer answer for you. And the questions will be a little bit more difficult than just asking you what job you would like to do, or what your favorite food is, or what sport you like to play. For example, I've written an example here for you. If in part 2, you are asked to talk about your favorite holiday resort or place you like to go for a holiday, in part 3, which is usually connected to what you did in part 2, in part 3, the examiner might ask you more questions about holidays in general. So you can see I've written down some examples here. What sort of holiday makers tend to visit your country? What are some of the major tourist attractions in your country? What are some of the advantages of tourism for local people? Are there disadvantages? So these questions are slightly harder and require you to think a lot more quickly. And again, what you are marked on are these 4 elements, which I've got at the end here. So the focus of the Ielts test is on vocabulary, ideas, opinions, and fluency. Now, there's one thing missing from that list that you might think is important. Paula, can you tell me what's missing from that list that you might think is important?
I think it's giving examples and alternatives.
It's a good answer, but it's not the main thing missing from the list. Nam, can you tell me?
Is it grammar?
Yes, well done. Excellent. So grammar is missing from that list, and I deliberately left that off because in the speaking test, grammar is not so important. It's still important, of course. Obviously, you want to try and use correct grammar if you can, but it's not really what you're marked on. If you make a mistake with grammar in the Ielts test, as long as it's only a small mistake, it doesn't matter as long as you are expressing an idea or an opinion fluently. So the speaking test is all about expressing your ideas, opinions, giving examples, as Paula said, fluently, and using as wide a vocabulary as you can. So during this sort of test, don't worry so much about your grammar. Okay, you don't need to be thinking, oh, am I using the correct tense? Am I using the correct person? Anything like that. Just concentrate on getting your ideas and opinions out and doing so fluently. Okay. Are there any questions about that, the IELTS test? So again, just to summarize, 3 parts to the IELTS test: introduction and a short interview with short questions. Part 2 is where you have to speak for 2 minutes about a subject which you are given. You don't have any choice. And part 3 is a longer discussion between you and the examiner. Any questions about how that works? Excellent. Okay, so what we're going to do for the rest of this lesson, as we did last time, is we're going to concentrate on part 2. So what we're going to be looking at is I'm going to be giving you a topic. You will have 1 minute to write down notes about the topic, and then you will have to talk to me and the rest of the class for 2 minutes. As I was saying, this is a difficult exercise. Some people do find it very difficult, but the way to make it less difficult is simply to practice. And the more you practice this, the easier it will get. And the more you practice this, even though I know other people in the class are listening, the easier it will be when you finally come to do a test in front of an examiner. If you've done this lots and lots of times, it will get easier, I promise. All right, so what I'm going to do now is just give you an example, a quick example of the sort of notes that you might like to do when you've got a minute to, let's get rid of all this. Okay. When you've got your minute to make notes, this is the sort of thing I think you should do. So say, for example, that the topic is this. Oops. All right, describe an interesting city you have visited as an example of the sort of topic you'll be expected to talk about for 2 minutes. So you've got 1 minute to write things down, write notes down, and 1 minute to think about what you're going to say. So, Viet Linh. Hello, Viet Linh.
Yes, yes.
Okay, so what might be the first thing you would write down? Describe an interesting city you have visited. So you're making a note about this. What might be the first thing you'd write down? Very simple.
Its name?
Exactly. Well done. Kien. Hello, Kian.
Yeah.
All right, what might be the second thing you might write down?
I'm going to say about the like
Sorry,
thing
Kian,
about the city.
I can't hear you very well. Sorry. Can you say that again?
I think I'm going to say about the interesting thing in the city.
Might not be the second thing you write down. That's certainly one of the things you'd write down. Might not be the second thing I write down. Actually, I should write these down as we're going. So the first thing, as Viet Lin said, is what is the, what is the city's name? All right. The second thing I think is maybe simple things. All right. Then we would get down to what you said, Kian, about or what can you see there? All right. So there are 4 things that you can quickly write down about any topic to get you started, get your thought process started. Remember, you've only got 1 minute, so of course you're not going to be able to write down a whole speech or anything like that. You can just write down simple notes that you can look at to remind you, to give you talking points of what you can talk about. Now, again, as I said last week, I think it's very important to have a tidy and complete conclusion or finishing sentence to talks like this, because it leaves whoever is listening with a good impression that the whole talk has been good, even though you might have maybe paused a little bit in the middle while you think of what to say next, or you look at your notes or piece of paper to remind yourself what to talk about. If you can have a last sentence written down that brings everything to a tidy conclusion, it can make a big difference to the impression that the examiner has of your entire 2-minute speech. So, Tone. Hello, Tone.
Hello.
Tone, can you give me a concluding sentence to a talk about describing an interesting city?
Okay. Because of all the reasons I have mentioned, I do think Hanoi is an interesting city.
Okay, that's not bad. That's exactly the sort of thing I was talking about. Okay, so you said because of all the reasons I've mentioned. Oops. Okay. Because of all the reasons I've mentioned, that's why I think Hanoi is an interesting city. So that's a really good conclusion. So it doesn't have to be anything really exciting. Okay, all it has to do is be something, a sentence that tidies up, that makes a positive conclusion to your talk. Does anyone have any questions about this process, if you like? So remember, you've got 1 minute to write down notes on your topic, and also, I think very importantly, to write down a last sentence that, even though you might be getting a little bit confused, a little bit forgetful by the time you've been talking for 1 minute and 50 seconds, you can look down at your notes and you know You've got your last sentence all written out for you there. You don't have to think of it. It's already written there for you. So I think it's worth spending about 15 seconds of that minute thinking of a good positive conclusion, because, as I say again, it leaves a good positive impression with the examiner about your entire 2-minute talk. Is anything not clear about any of that? Okay, what I'm going to do now is, because I ask you to do these things, I'm going to do it for you myself. All right, I'm going to give you an example of how something of this, like this, might work from my point of view. So I'm going to talk about an interesting place in New Zealand, and I'm going to set a timer going here for me to make sure it's 2 minutes. All right, and give you an example how it works. So from my description, you should learn something about the place that I'm talking about, which I probably think not many of you or any of you will have heard of before, and hopefully you will find it interesting, and hopefully it'll all make sense if I do it correctly. So here I go. I'm going to talk for 2 minutes about this place in New Zealand. The interesting place that I think you would like to visit if you ever come to New Zealand is a place called Waitangi, which is in the north of New Zealand. It's about 3 hours drive from New Zealand's biggest city, Auckland. It's really interesting because it was here 180 years ago that the settlers who came mostly from Britain signed a peace treaty with the people who were here already, the local native people who were called the Maori. So it was a treaty they signed that they agreed they would stop fighting over land. Up until then, they'd been fighting over land for maybe, at least 10, 15 years. So they came together at this place called Waitangi. It's a beautiful place. All right, lots of flowers, lots of gardens, and they built a special house there for the signing of this peace treaty. On the day when the peace treaty was signed, there were hundreds of native Maori chiefs there and also representatives of the British Queen. And they all came together on a beautiful day in the sunshine, in the beautiful gardens, to sign this peace treaty, which would mean no more fighting between the people who'd come from Britain and the Maori people. So going forward to this day, the beautiful treaty house and the gardens are still there, and you can visit them and you can read about what happened when people came together to sign the treaty. And there weren't any cameras in those days, but they do have paintings of what the scene looked like. It's right beside the sea, so there were warships out at sea as well. So I think you can imagine what an impressive picture it must have made to all the people who were there. So the beautiful sea, the beautiful gardens, all the colorful people there signing the historic treaty, I should say. It's such a wonderful historic place that I think everyone in New Zealand should visit there. Okay. So I had the last sentence of my talk written down, and that's all. And a couple of notes just about the gardens and the treaty house. So the rest of that I made up as I went along. So I hope you found that interesting, and I hope I was able to give you a picture in your mind about what happened at this place called Waitangi and why it's historically interesting. And I hope also that the last sentence, even though I made a couple of stumbles in my speech during the 2 minutes, I hope the last sentence gave you the impression that it was all wrapped up nicely and tidily. What do you think, Paula?
I think it was very good.
Okay, so did the whole thing work for you? Did it make sense what I was trying to do?
It does.
That's great. Okay, all right, so now it's your turn, all of you. So we're going to have a go at this, each one of you. So the topic I've chosen is describe a city. I'll write this down. I'll make this really easy, really broad, so you won't have any trouble trying to think of somewhere to write about. Okay, describe a city or a place you visited which impressed you. So you have 1 minute to write down notes about it, which include a last concluding sentence, and then you're going to talk about it for 2 minutes. Any questions before we start? All right, your 1 minute starts now. Thank you. Okay, time's up. I know a minute's not very long, is it? But that's all you get in the Ielts test. So that's what we're going to use now. So I'm going to hear each of you in turn. Now you're going to talk for 2 minutes about a city or place you visited which impressed you. Paula, can you go first, please?
Okay.
Okay, so are you ready?
Yeah, I kind of think so.
Okay, good for you. Okay, Paula, so 2 minutes from whenever you're ready.
So I've been in different places in my life, but there's no place that impressed me like Quran did. So I see this in Vietnam, and I was astonished by the breathtaking sights of it. Quran has many beautiful view sites, and they have lanterns, handicrafts, and traditional crafts that I would really love to buy. And personally, I really like its cuisine and its open air market. It sells different kinds of street food. Besides, and moreover, the local people are really friendly, and I really love the residents because they are really amiable, helpful, and frugal. Visiting there gives me various emotions and heartwarming memories with my family. So by far, I think Hội is the most place that impressed me. The place that impressed me most.
Okay, that was my timing. That was about 1 minute 15 seconds, Paula. Okay, so you still got 45 seconds to fill. However, what you did though was very good. So you talked about Hoi An, you talked about why you found it interesting, and you came up with a good last sentence. Can you give me your last sentence again, please, Paula?
My last sentence was, I think Hội An is wait, I didn't remember what is my last sentence.
So you didn't write it down?
Yeah, I didn't have enough time.
Okay, but you still came up with a good last sentence. It was something like, that's why Hoi An is a very interesting place to visit. It was something like that, wasn't it?
Hội An is a city that impressed me most.
Yes, yeah. Which is great, which is good.
Thank you.
Okay, so you could see how even though Paula's talk was a little bit short, it still covered a lot of different things. Paula spoke very fluently, and it had a good ending to it, which made it sound complete and tidy and neat. So for Paula, all she has to do now is just think of another few things to lengthen it a little bit so she can talk for another 40, 45 seconds or so. What sort of things you're probably thinking? Maybe Paula could have talked more about one or two of the attractions, and maybe she could have talked about a personal experience she had when she was there. Once you get good at doing this, and once you get used to doing this, you will actually find 2 minutes is very short, especially once you start talking about a personal experience. For example, maybe when Paula was in Hoi An, she bought a present for someone, or even a present for herself, some piece of clothing or a souvenir, or maybe she went out on the river in Hoi An for a trip on the boat. She could have talked about that very easily, some sort of personal experience, easily for 40 or 45 seconds. She could say, I bought this really cool t-shirt, it was in Hoi An, it was colored pink, and on the front of it, it had a picture of Ho Chi Minh. And I've always wanted a t-shirt like this because it makes my family very proud when they see something like that. See the sort of thing? Once you start off with one thought, it easily leads to another one. So it is very easy to fill up time. So personal experience, talking about one or two experiences you've had in a place, is a very valuable way of you talking about something, rather than just describing where the place is and what might be interesting for other people. Talk about something that you've experienced. Okay, thank you, Paula. So who haven't I asked recently? Okay, Michael.
Yes.
All right, Michael, are you ready?
Yeah, I'm ready.
Okay, so 2 minutes whenever you're ready.
All right. So Vietnam is a beautiful place in Asia, especially if I was about to visit. I would visit the city called Da Nang. Da Nang is a city that have beaches and a lot of stuff. I recommend you first things that you came from to Da Nang is to go to the beach. The beach is very beautiful, but it's not so clean. It's pretty dirty because people always throw garbage into the sea. But you can still swim there. But be careful. There's a lot of animals that are harmful. The next thing you would want to enjoy is seafoods. Seafoods in Da Nang are very good. You can even taste the last bone. You can even taste the food until your last meal. So I would recommend you to go to Da Nang because it's very.
Is that the end? Is that
No,
the end,
I'm
Michael?
not. No.
Okay, keep going.
Overall, Da Nang is a very great city. If I have the chance to revisit, I would. So yeah, that's the end.
That's the end. Okay. All right. So that was about 1 minute 45. All right. So still another 15 seconds to go. What was your last sentence, Michael?
Overall, Da Nang is a great place to visit. I would love to revisit it if I have a chance. Okay.
Great last sentence. Excellent. So again, a bit like Paula, the only thing that was missing was, which you could have used to fill up the time, was something you did there.
Oh, okay.
Okay, a personal experience.
Yeah.
What you said about the water was really good. You know, how the water is maybe a bit, people throw rubbish in the water. Is that what you were saying?
Yes.
So it's a bit dirty, and also there are some dangerous creatures in there. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, so I heard all of that, and that's good. You could have maybe talked about that either you went swimming in the water and this is what happened to you, or you didn't go swimming in the water. Instead, you went to a swimming pool. Okay, and then this is what I did in the swimming pool. So just use some sort of personal experience tied to that. And as I was saying, that gives you more material to fill up the 2 minutes. Okay, but otherwise that was great. Thank you, Michael.
Thanks.
Okay, Nam.
Yes.
All right. Welcome, Nam. All right.
Yeah,
your
I'm a
turn.
bit lag. Yeah, I'm a bit lag. If I disconnect is because of my internet, so I'll try my best to keep it short.
Okay, good for you. So sounds good at the moment, Nam. The connection's fine.
Yeah, I'm afraid it will it will turn bad later on.
Okay.
So the most interesting city in Vietnam that I visited is Ho Chi Minh City. I consider it more fun. Visit there more. Can I start again?
Okay, start
Okay,
again.
I messed up.
Okay.
Okay. So the most interesting city in Vietnam that I considered is Ho Chi Minh City, because this Ho Chi Minh City is located in the Mekong Delta in the south of Vietnam, and it has a lot of difference to Hanoi. The first thing that I noticed when I came to visit is the people there. The people in Hanoi usually live more responsible, and on the other hand, the locals in Ho Chi Minh City, they live more freely. They usually want to just to enjoy their life, having fun with their friends, and live more exciting. And the second thing that I noticed that has a biggest difference from Hanoi is the infrastructure. It's more modern because it's built based on Americans' way of building. And I really love the city because it has a lot of entertaining streets. Like it has 2 walking streets that you can enjoy in the night. That I would advise you to play around, and that's pretty bad. And I think that is my experience from my trip to Ho Chi Minh City, and I would consider it the most interesting city in Vietnam.
Okay, that's the end.
Yeah.
Okay,
I did it
so
really
that's-
bad. I
That's
did it
all
really
right.
bad.
You are here. We are here to practice. So don't worry. Okay. This is good. This is good that you are practicing this. So that was 1 minute 45. Nam.
Yeah, because
And did you? You started off really well.
but I have some trouble with my main ideas.
Yeah, in the middle. So did you have your last sentence written down?
Yeah, I got my sentence written down.
Okay. So I think in this sort of situation, if this was an exam or a test, even though you are maybe getting a little bit lost and you know you haven't talked for 2 minutes yet, better just to finish it tidily using your last sentence and leave it a little bit short than to fall completely silent and can't think of anything and then use your last sentence. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that does.
Yeah, so better to think, oh, and look at your notes and say, oh, I've already talked about all the things I can think of. Better finish. Okay, that's easy. And just use your last sentence. So it still sounds like you were confident and you knew what you were talking about rather than run out of things to say.
Yeah.
Okay, if that ever happens again. But again, same thing as I was saying before, think of some experience you had or something that you really enjoyed about Ho Chi Minh City, something you did when you were there.
Yeah, that's the main problem that I had with my speech. That's the main problem. I can remember what I done during the trip.
Right. Even if you, now, here's the other thing, even if you have to make something up, okay?
Yeah, I
Doesn't-
try to make something up.
It doesn't matter. You can make something up for these things.
Yeah.
They don't have to be true. You know, whoever's doing the test, they don't know if it's true or not. Doesn't matter. Of
Okay.
course, all they want to hear is you speaking in English about something. That's all they're interested in.
Okay.
All right. So maybe I'm thinking Ho Chi Minh City. Mao, there must be so many things in Ho Chi Minh City. Like I think you were talking about, we could talk about the food. We could talk about a meal you had there. You could talk about maybe some building you visited. Talk about some trip you had while you were there. Again, I know you've only got a minute to think of these things, so you have to be fast, but maybe you could write down a quick note saying walking street or something like that, just to remind you to talk about that. Just something like that.
Yeah. Thanks.
Okay, Nam, but that was good. No, you had some good ideas again, and you just ran out of ideas, but you had some good ones before you ran out of ideas. So that's good. And this is a good place to start. I know, as I said before, this is difficult for a reason because it's a test, but it's the sort of thing that if you practice it, you will get better at it. Okay, Kien.
Yeah.
Kien. Okay, so I'm going a little bit out of order here. Just okay, so just to keep people awake. All right, Kien, I can hear you.
Okay.
Are you ready?
I'm ready.
Okay, whenever you're ready, Kien, 2 minutes.
So anyone who comes to visit my country should spend time discovering this beautiful city of Vietnam, which I'm going to tell about. It's named Nha Trang, which is located in the south central of my country. I visited this peaceful city 3 years ago when I was on my summer holiday to avoid the extreme heat of the sun in the capital during that time. There it's very cool and windy there because it's a coastal city. I usually came along the sandy beach to enjoy the fresh air of the wind and the salty taste of the seawater. So all my daily stress and hardness set aside. Another thing you can be knowing is the seafood. It is very diverse and rich with all kinds of seafood. So overall, I think it's such worth living city because of its peace, cleanness, and beauty. I can see the colorful lifestyle of young people, and I think that if I have a chance, I will definitely try to visit it again in the future.
Okay, you're finished?
I think so.
Sorry, Kien, is that the end?
Yeah.
Okay, all right. So that was I timed that 1 minute 25. So again, it was a little bit short, Kien, but it was very good. What you did was great. All right. What's the name of the city again, by the way? I didn't hear the name of the city at the start.
It's named Nha Trang.
How do you spell that?
Nha Trang, Nhatrang.
Nha Trang. Nha Trang. Is that right?
Yes, that's right.
Okay. So I like what you were saying about the salty taste of the sea. That was really good. That's a really good image, that sort of thing. And you talked about all the different things you can do there. You talked about where it is exactly. And that was a really good ending too. So Kian, that was very well done. So the only thing, again, is it was a little bit short. So again, think of something you had there or something you did there to fill up the rest of the 2 minutes. Okay? Hello, Kian.
Okay. Yeah.
Okay. Does that make sense?
Yes.
Okay, but that was very good. The other thing I liked about what Ken did there was that he went at a normal conversational speed. All right. He didn't go too fast. but he went slow enough so that you could hear exactly what words and phrases he was using, and that you could also picture in your mind as he was talking about the salty sea, for example, the salty taste of the sea. So I know you might be a bit nervous when you're doing this, but take a deep breath and just speak at normal conversational speed. There's no need to rush. And also, if you're speaking at a speed like I'm speaking to you now, it's very easy for you to be thinking while you're talking of maybe other ideas to fill up the 2 minutes. Whereas if you speak too fast, then of course you'll get through all your material too fast. Okay, so the speed at which Kien spoke was very good. And that's the sort of speed you should aim for in these things. Okay, who's next? Viet Lin.
Yes.
Yes, your turn, please.
Okay, I'm starting now. I'm not much of a traveler myself, so I haven't been to a lot of cities and places, but one of the most impressive cities that I have been to is probably Da Nang. It is a beach city located in the middle of Vietnam. Some year ago, my father company held their annual staff summer vacation or something like that in this city, and I was able to go with him on the trip, and I was very excited because I had always wanted to visit Da Nang. Da Nang natural beauty was amazing. We had a chance to feast our eyes on the gorgeous view of the city bridges and the coastal roads where the mountains and beaches lay side by side. It was one of the most breathtaking experience ever, especially the Dragon Bridge. It was magnificent, but because of the traffic, we couldn't experience the special event it shows every night. And after I returned from the trip, I also learned that Da Nang is also a crossroad from which travelers can make their way to many other famous tourist attractions like Hội An or Huế. And I would love to return to Da Nang someday. That's it.
Okay, that's it. So that was, what did I get up to? About 1 minute 25.
Yes.
1 minute 25. So again, a little bit short, Viet Lin, but again, you had some really good material in there. Okay, so what you were doing was very good. The way you delivered it was not bad. So the things I think to improve on that is, number one, you can slow down a little bit. All right?
Yeah.
You had a lot of really interesting information in there, but you know, a lot of it one sentence went straight into the next one. So you can pause at the end of sentences and phrases.
Yeah.
And like I say, that gives you, well, first of all, a chance to breathe properly, but also gives you a chance to let the impact of what you're saying have an effect on the listener, and also gives you a little bit of a chance to think about what you're going to say next. So, for example, if I talk like this really fast and I go from one sentence to another and I don't really pause, it's very hard to follow. But if I talk to you like this at a normal conversation pace, and I leave a gap like I'm doing now between my sentences and phrases, then it's much easier for someone to follow, and it's actually more interesting to listen to than a constant stream of words.
Yes.
One thing, Viet Lin, I would like to have heard more about, I thought your talk was very interesting, was the Dragon Bridge.
Yes.
You talked about the Dragon Bridge, but you didn't tell me anything about it. Great, it's got a great name. So why is the Dragon Bridge so interesting? I mean, is it interesting color? Is it long? Is it high? I would like to have found out more about that. Okay?
Yes.
Okay, so you had lots of elements in your talk that you could have expanded on to fill up the 2 minutes. But you had a really confident beginning, okay, and a confident ending too. What was the ending again? Can you tell me?
it is after I returned from the trip, I also
Mhm.
learned that Da Nang is also a crossroad from which travelers can make their way to many other famous tourist attractions like Hội An and Huế. And I would love to return to Da Nang someday.
Okay, that I would love to return to Da Nang someday is a great way to finish any talk about a historic place. So it doesn't have to be anything too complicated or profound. Okay, it can just be something as simple as what Viet Linh did there. I would love to go back to Hoi An someday, or love to go back to, Da Nang someday. Thank you, Viet Linh. That was good. So we're going to see if we can find someone who can talk for 2 minutes. See if we can this time. Tone. Hello, Tone.
Hello.
Hello, Tone.
Yeah.
How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Good, good. I hope you're not getting too sleepy sitting listening to everyone else talking.
No, not really.
Okay, that's good. All right, it's your turn, please, Tone. So 2 minutes whenever you're ready, please.
I start now. 2
Yeah.
years ago, when I go to Da Nang, I really found that city is very impressive. I stayed near the beach and I just know a little about the surrounding place. The beach was very beautiful. I went there every day because the weather are fine and in summer. At night, I often go to the night market. We had a lot of food, especially seafood, and the one food that I really like is espresso ice cream. It's not like a simple, like a normal ice cream every day I buy at my house. It tastes very different. At the weekend and some special occasions, the Dragon Bridge spray water and fire and I don't know anything. But the last time I went there, I very impressed. It's a real fire. It's there is bright in the sky, and that was the first time I saw something like that. About the local people, I think they are very friendly. One time I got lost, and they gave me a lot of directions to my hotel. Well, that time I don't have a phone or anything like that. I can go went to went to my hotel. Yeah. So that is the reason why I think Da Nang is impressive. Okay.
Okay, very good. Very good, Tone. Okay, you're the first person to speak for more than 2 minutes. Well done.
Thank you. Thank you.
Okay. In fact, that was more than 2 minutes. That was nearly 2 minutes, 10 seconds.
Thank you.
So you did very well. And I was very interested. So did you hear everybody what Tone was saying there? He gave a couple of personal experiences. Correct me if I'm wrong, Tone, but you talked about the ice cream, okay, why it's different in Da Nang from ice cream anywhere else. And you also talked about when you got lost and the locals were very friendly and helped you find your way back to your hotel. Is that right, Tone?
Yes, it's right.
Okay, I heard correctly. And that's good because it means if I heard correctly, it means you expressed yourself very well. So you gave a personal experience about something that happened to you while you were in Da Nang, something interesting. And that was great. And that helped fill out the 2 minutes. So it was really interesting to hear about that. What Tone could also have talked about was the night market. He mentioned the night market, but he could have, if he wanted to, he could have spent another 20, 30 seconds talking about some of the different stalls in the night market, the sort of things they sell there, maybe the sort of food that you can buy at a Da Nang night market that you can't buy at a night market in Hanoi, if that's the case. So that sort of thing you can talk about once you sit and think about it. But Tone, that was really good. Excellent.
Okay,
Excellent.
thank you.
Excellent effort. And you talked at a good speed too. You didn't go too fast. And you had your ending exactly pretty much right. Okay, it sounded like you gave a complete talk, which was really good.
Thank you.
Okay. Gao Khan. Gao Khan.
Cao Khánh nào, Cao Khánh ơi.
I'm here.
Okay, Gao Khan. Okay, so you've had the benefit now of hearing what some of the other people have done, all right? Okay, and
Yeah.
the sort of comments I've been giving them. So you don't have any reason not to get 100%. Is that right?
Yeah.
I'm joking. No pressure. No pressure. Okay, Gal Khan, whenever you're ready, please, for 2 minutes.
Da Nang is a city I have impressed most. Da Nang is the largest city in central Vietnam. The weather here is comfortable. It has many service or entertainment. One of them is Coco Bay. Coco Bay. This is the famous resort in Da Nang. It includes many quality hotels. Also, this resort is near the beach. So the water in here is cool. Moreover, there have another city to entertain in the evening is Hoi An. There have many buildings from hundreds of years ago. Hoi An was recognized by UNESCO as a World Cultural Heritage. Because of all the reasons I have mentioned, that's why I think Da Nang and Hoi An is an interesting city.
Okay, that's the end, Gal Khan?
Yeah.
Okay, so that was about 1 minute, 30 seconds. Okay, so you still had another 30 seconds to go. So again, you could maybe have talked more about some experience you had in Da Nang. Same as I've been saying to some of the others. Okay, it's really good in these things to come up with some sort of example or experience that you've had in the place. Once you've finished telling me about Da Nang as a place, tell me about what you most enjoyed about being there. You went at a very good speed. What was your ending, Hakan?
My ending is in my ending is Jaws. You write that in the computer.
Sorry, can you tell me that again, please?
Câu ending của con là gì? Câu kết luận của con là gì?
He choose your ending, the ending you wrote.
Yeah.
Previously. Yeah, it's on the screen there.
Oh, the same ending.
Yeah, the same one.
Okay, all right. Okay, nothing wrong with that, Hakan. That's fine. Okay. All right. So as I was saying.
Yeah. Okay.
Sorry, Galkan. Sorry, Galkan. Yeah, so nothing wrong with what you were saying. It just needed to be a little bit longer, okay, and maybe with some personal experience of yours in it. Like, for example, Tone was talking about, the night market or the ice cream that he had when he was in Da Nang. And what else did I notice? Oh, just one word, Galkan. It's comfortable. It's pronounced comfortable, not comfortable.
Okay.
All right. I know that sounds like a small thing, but that's the sort of thing that makes it not sound like a native speaker would do. All right. If I hear anyone saying words that I think should be like a native speaker, I will let you know. So this is one of them. So I know it is spelt comfortable, but it's actually pronounced comfortable. So the or sound in the middle, you just miss out. It's what a native speaker would do. You just say comfortable, comfortable. Does that make sense, Gao Khan?
Yeah.
Okay, that's great. Thank you. All right, Hakan.
Hello, can you hear
Okay. Yeah.
me?
Okay, are you ready?
Maybe?
Yep, whenever you're ready.
Okay, I'm ready.
Okay,
Okay, I'm ready.
start when you're ready.
Well, the city which I visit impressed me is Ho Chi Minh City. Is located in the south of Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh City have an interesting history about it. This city used to have a name called Saigon and belongs to Vietnamese enemy at that moment. After Vietnam army defeat them, it changed name to Ho Chi Minh City. This name originated from one of the best leader of Vietnam. Ho Chi Minh City have many places for you to visit, like it have many cheap restaurant with good foods, and it also have a famous place called that Bến Thành Market. It's a big market that you can buy a good thing if you don't have a lot of money. And also the thing I like about the city is that it have many modern technology. I have visited many shopping malls and some tall building, and I see that the technology of them is very good and also very new to me. In short, Ho Chi Minh City is a worth place for everybody to visit, and I like it. Okay.
Okay, that was 1 minute 50. Not bad. All right. Only 10
Thank you.
seconds short. Only 10 seconds short. So I really liked the speed at which you went. All right. That was a really good speed for understanding what you were saying. You had a lot of information in there, and your English was pretty good too. Just be careful you don't put S's on the ends of words which are already plural by themselves. So the example I heard you say there was foods. You said foods with an S on the end?
Yeah.
Okay, so food can already be a plural word by itself, Hakan. As in,
Okay.
we enjoyed lots of interesting food. You don't need to say foods.
Okay.
We ate interesting. I can't remember exactly the sentence you said, but it didn't make sense when you put an S on the end of foods. Okay, so just be careful with some words like that, which I tried to think of some other examples. Do you know what a sheep is? Everyone know what a sheep is? A small animal which you get wool off. So the plural of sheep is also sheep. Doesn't need an S on the end.
Oh, okay. I will fix that. Thank you.
It's all right. It's just a small thing. But like I say, if I hear you making even some small mistake, I will correct you. All right. Otherwise,
Okay.
you won't know that you've made a mistake. But that was very good, I thought, Hakan. Like I say,
Okay.
you had some good information in there. Again, the only thing that was missing, and the only person who I've heard do this so far well was Tone, is just some personal experience. All right.
Okay.
Some personal experience just to fill out the remaining time for the 2 minutes. And also personally, it's almost like these talks are like you're telling a story. So you're not just giving me, for example, in the case of the cities that you've talked to me about, you're not just giving me a history lesson or a description of the interesting locations. You're also telling me a story about something which happened to you there. And now, telling a story is actually a very powerful way, even in a test, of convincing the examiner that your English is very good. If you can get them interested in the story you are telling, and again, I go back to Tone's example of a very simple story, but he got lost, all right? And he was looking for his hotel, and he found some people, and the locals were very friendly, and they were able to guide him back to his hotel. All right, so that's a very simple story, but it's still an interesting little story and just makes a difference from saying, well, Da Nang has lots of interesting shops and a dragon bridge and this and that. Okay, that's a description of things, but it's a little story that can make a little talk like this really stand out from what other people were doing. And not that you want to compare yourself to other people in this, of course, but which will help get you a better mark in this sort of test. If you can get,
thank you.
If you can get the examiner interested. So that was very good. All right. Thank you, Ha Khan.
Thank you too.
Mrs. Ha, is it Ha there or Tang Vin?
Ngọc Hà ơi.
Yes, I'm here.
Hello, welcome. This is the first time we've talked.
Con bật camera chào thầy một chút đấy. Bạn chưa nhìn thấy mặt, con chào thầy. Nhìn dòng chưa?
Hi.
Hi.
Okay. Yeah.
Hi. Okay. Hi. Nice to see you. All right. You're the only one I haven't
Nice to
seen
meet
yet.
you.
Okay. How old are you?
I'm 14 years old.
14.
Same
Okay.
age as Paula.
Same age as Paula. Okay.
Yeah.
What grade are you?
In grade 9.
Okay. Cool. So I'll just write that down on my list. You're the same as Paula and grade 9. Okay, so you've had the advantage of hearing what everyone else has done, okay? And all the comments that I've made to everyone else about this. So again, I hope you've got a little list of points that you can talk about there, okay? And I hope maybe a last sentence that's going to make it all neat and tidy, like a special gift or a present, okay?
Okay.
Okay, all right. So 2 minutes whenever you're ready.
I think I'm ready.
Okay, good.
Ho Chi Minh City is the biggest city in Vietnam, where has many structures. Some of the attraction is Notre Dame Cathedral and the Ben Thanh Market, where you can buy very cheap and unique things to buy. And the activity I'm really come to try is to enjoy the nightlife city in Nguyễn Huệ Street, where I have watched a dance show with young dancers. Or if you don't like watching shows, you can have a drink and enjoy the view with many colorful lights. And I think this is the place that you should visit if you have chance to come to Vietnam.
Okay.
I have already done.
You've already finished. Okay, that's
Wow. So
1 minute. Short.
Too short.
1 minute. Okay, 1 minute. But so the information, what you're giving me was good, okay? But I want to hear more about the sort of things that I can do in the city, all right? All right, and more about maybe a description of some of the attractions in the city. your personal feeling about some of them. I'll actually, before we finish, I'll do a little bit of an exercise. So can you give me some, can you give me some adjectives for ice cream?
Ice cream.
If I say ice cream to you, what adjectives, what words come to mind?
Cold.
Yeah.
And delicious.
Yeah. Yeah. Any more? Cold, delicious.
And it has many flavors. Enjoy.
Okay. Okay. So cold and delicious. So adjectives are a good way of building color into a talk like this. All right. So if you talk about gardens or a park or a river, you can talk about the beautiful gardens, which are full of many different colored flowers, red, blue, pink, the sort of flowers that you might see at a wedding sometime. Beautiful flowers. All right, so you just don't talk about flowers or a garden. You try put some adjectives into your story to make it come to life a bit more and give it some color, and also, of course, to help make your story longer. Does that make sense? Huh?
Hào ơi,
Yes. Yes.
Okay, sorry, your picture is frozen on the screen at the moment. I couldn't tell if you were still with us or not. Now it's moving again. Okay. Yeah. Now I can see you. Okay, so, and that applies not just to Ha, but to everyone, to think of more adjectives and describing words to put into your story to give it a little bit more color. And like I say, helps you to fill out the 2 minutes. Speaking of which, so thank you, Ha. Paula.
Flower ơi.
Hello, Paula. All right. Can you give me a couple of adjectives for beach, please? Beach.
Beach.
Yeah, as in the beach.
Tranquil.
Yep. One more. Anything. First thing that comes to your mind.
Clear.
Clear. Okay.
Yeah, let's see.
Yeah, it's fine. That's fine. First thing comes to your mind. Michael, could you do the same, please?
Yes.
All right. The word beach. The word beach. Two adjectives or describing words, please.
Adjective to describe beach.
Yeah, two adjectives or two describing words.
Amazing and great.
Yes, that's fine. Okay, amazing and great. Nam, beach, please.
Nam ơi. Nam. Okay, give different ones, please.
He's gone to sleep, has he? Okay, Kian.
No, I'm here. I'm like, no.
Yes, okay, Nam. Keep talking, please.
Okay, Nam, can you give me two describing words to go with beach? The word beach.
Beach.
Yeah.
2 words.
Yeah, just off the top of your head.
Beautiful and.
Yep.
Crowded? I don't know.
Crowded, did you say?
Yeah.
That's fine. That's fine.
Yeah.
Okay. I just after describing words.
That's
yeah.
what came up.
Yeah, exactly. That's fine. All right, Kian, can you give me 2 words to go with mountains, please? Mountains.
Mountain. Can be dangerous.
Dangerous and?
Spiky or I don't know.
Sorry, do you have a second one?
I don't have one.
Okay, dangerous. Viet Linh, mountains.
Yes.
Mountains. 2 words to go with mountains.
Foggy
Mhm.
Unstable weather.
Unstable weather. Okay.
Yeah.
That's an extra word, but that's okay. All right. Tone, mountains, please.
Thầy đọc cho Toàn.
Must it be an adjective?
Sorry?
Must it be an adjective?
Sorry, I can't hear that. It's not very clear. Sorry, Tone.
Must it be an adjective?
What was the second one?
High. High is high.
High.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. High is fine. High is fine. Okay. Gao Khan. Gao Khan. Ice cream. Ice cream.
I'm here.
Con
I'm here.
hai cái tính từ để mô tả cái ice cream như nào?
Hai tính từ ạ?
Chung rồi.
2 words, 2 adjectives to go with ice cream, please. Gao Khan.
Cold and delicious.
All right. Ha Khan. Ha Khan. Ice cream.
Hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
Okay.
Ice cream. 2 adjectives, please.
Sweet and tasty.
Okay, that's fine. Sweet and tasty. Good. All right. So this exercise was just to try and get you to think quickly, all right, about some adjectives to describe something. And adjectives, as I say, are really good for giving color to a talk like this. All right. When you're talking about food, ice cream, you can use words like sweet and tasty and delicious and cold. No one said white, by the way. No one said any color. White or chocolate. All right. There are lots of words you can use to describe ice cream. Same with beach. Beach. Off the top of my head, I can say sandy. No one said sandy. Sandy, rocky, hot, sunny, sunny beach, crowded. I think someone did say crowded.
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, yeah. Mountains, again, lots of words. It took a while before someone said high. That's the first word that comes to my mind. High mountains, jagged mountains, cold mountains, forest-covered mountains. All right, so adjectives can really make a piece like this 2-minute talk come to life. And anything that comes to life and gives color to your talk will find favor with the person who is listening to it, especially the examiner. All right, so always be thinking of adjectives. We'll do more practice about this next time too. All right, this is what we're going to work on. So I know time is almost up. So thank you all for your efforts. So all your talks, okay, there was something good about all of them. But the one thing, or the 2 things that I want you to take away from this lesson, and I'll write them down here for you now, because these are the things that will get you marks when you do this sort of test for real. One is talk about personal. Talk about personal experiences. Okay. Actually, I hope you can see that. I'll get rid of that so you can make it further up the page. All right. Talk about a personal experience. When you can tell a story, it makes it much more interesting than just giving a list of the attractions that you might find in a particular city, like Da Nang or Ho Chi Minh City. Talk about something that happened to you in Ho Chi Minh City or Da Nang. That sounds, 1, much more interesting, and 2, is a very easy way to help fill up time. All right. And the other thing is all right? Speak at conversation speed, or conversationally, I should probably say, at the speed that I'm talking to you now. So again, I know speaking like this, it can be a bit nerve-wracking, all right? And you feel a bit tense. But if you speak at the speed I'm talking to you now, it makes it much easier for someone to understand you. And it also gives you a chance to think about maybe some more adjectives and ways to make your story sound more interesting as you're telling it. And it also gives you the chance, and again, we'll look at this next time, to introduce a bit more color and light and shade into your voice as I'm doing for you now. Okay? Rather than just talking to you as if I'm reading off a piece of paper like this. Okay.
Okay, thank you.
So talk about personal experiences and talk at a conversational speed. So that's the end of the lesson for today. Thank you very much, everyone, for paying attention, and thank you for your contributions. Again, yep.
Rick, can I ask you? Can I have your email so that I can send my speech later? Like I can rewrite it.
Sure, although I'm not so much interested in reading your speech. I'm interested in hearing your speech. Okay.
Yeah, I just try to make up. I just try to make up my speech.
Yeah. So the idea is that in obviously the minute you've got to prepare it, you're not going to obviously have a chance to write a 2-minute speech. You can't do it. Yeah. So
để con hỏi cái gì đấy.
And also I want to ask you something because I want to have something to contact you. Sure,
but I'll give you my email anyway.
Okay, thank you.
But the writing we will do at another time. All right. So in this case, I'm not so much interested in seeing what you wrote for this speech. I'm just interested in hearing it because it's quite a different skill.
Yeah. Okay.
Ghê gớm chưa? Các Vinh Khánh vừa rồi có hiểu thầy nói không, Vinh Khánh? Có hiểu nhỉ? Tức là tóm lại là những bạn nào mà nói nhanh á, cô đã nói rất là nhiều lần rồi, mình không cần phải thể hiện một cách là mình thấy rằng là mình nói tiếng Anh hay, mình nói nhanh đâu, cứ từ từ chậm rãi thôi, nói như kiểu như là mình đang giao tiếp với nhau ấy, chứ không phải Tây nào cũng nói rất là nhanh đâu, đúng không? Nói vừa phải thôi, nói với cái độ vừa phải, và mình cái đấy mình còn kéo được dài thời gian hơn. Cái thứ hai, cái quan trọng nhất là để cho người nghe người ta hiểu mình nói gì á, đấy là cái yếu tố rất là quan trọng. Ok, và đấy là các bạn ghi cái mail của thầy vào nhá. Cô được 50 năm nói hỏi gì nó phải chính xác, cô không dặn Nam, tức là hỏi là để cho khi nào cần có việc gì thì hỏi thầy thôi, chứ không phải là để cho
cháu muốn tranh thủ về gần như trước là Jack cháu nói xong rồi cháu cũng muốn viết luôn thì...
Đúng rồi, cô đồng ý, nhưng mà vấn đề là có nghĩa là con sẽ phải gửi cho ông, thì con sẽ nói rằng đây là một cái bài viết của tôi, thế nhờ ông check, con hiểu không? Chứ đừng nói rằng ông ấy, đấy ông cứng nhắc lắm, tức là bài nói là phải là bài nói, còn bài viết là phải là bài viết. Hay ông vừa nói là bài viết, ông sẽ dạy cho con sau, buổi sau, còn hôm nay thì ông dạy bài nói và ông chỉ muốn nghe, không muốn đặt cái bài kiểu câu viết là như thế. Ông cứng nhắc lắm mà, hiểu không? Ok, thank you very much.
Thank you, Rick.
Okay, you're welcome. My email address there, so if any of you want to email me and ask me a question, you're more than welcome, all right? So I hope you all enjoy the rest of your weekend and have a good week learning online, and I'll see you next week. Thank you. Come earn.
Goodbye. Thank you.
Bye. Okay. Bye-bye.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.